Coming up in NBN News tonight, your full budget breakdown, tax, housing, spending cuts and fuel, what you need to know. From the Canary Islands to Westmead Hospital, the effort to get Aussie cruise passengers home. Outback wrangler Matt Wright released from jail. A World War I medal discovered in a Coffs Harbour backyard reunited with the family of an Aussie digger. And Australian teenage sprint star Gout Gout becomes a prime-time hit in the US. Those stories and more coming up in the news next. Tonight, breaking news, one of Australia's most wanted men, triple killer Julian Ingram, found dead after months on the run. Tax changes and more tradies on the tools, the Treasurer locking in tomorrow's federal budget. From a cruise nightmare to 3 weeks in quarantine, 5 Australians returning from the Hunter virus ship facing COVID-style isolation. Outback wrangler star Matt Wright released from jail. And are the Bulldogs starting to panic as their form slump deepens?
This is NBN News with Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. First tonight, Treasurer Jim Chalmers is putting the finishing touches on what could be the most consequential federal budget in years. Housing and controversial tax reform will be the centrepiece, signalling a shift towards younger Australians and first home buyers.
Under Parliament's budget tree, the government's budget 3, posing with the papers and promising life will be better.
Australians can be certain that we're doing everything that we can to strengthen the economy, to make their lives better, and that's what this budget will do.
This is our most responsible budget yet, and our most ambitious as well.
Pledging to help tradies trade typing for tools.
They are spending far too much time in the back office, filling in forms, dealing with certifications, when we actually want them out on the site, building the homes that our country needs.
The government pledging $170 million to create and maintain artificial intelligence that can speed up the approvals process for housing and work with the states, aiming to eliminate some of the green tape holding projects back.
Let's see the government actually deliver this rather than just announce it.
Deliver the housing that Australians desperately need much more quickly than what we've seen in the past.
New data from the ABS showing a 10.5% drop in dwelling approvals in March as the sector was hit by uncertainty out of Iran.
We need to be looking to find ways to cut taxes to make it cheaper to build.
Approvals are one thing, finding tradies remains another, and with changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax incentives set to prioritise new builds, demand is expected to jump further.
New taxes on homes, on rentals, on shares, on small businesses, on startups.
The Treasurer calling the budget ambitious is usually code for risky. At the heart is the broken election promise on negative gearing and capital gains, the government preferring to ask for forgiveness from voters rather than permission. This is also an opportunity for the opposition, be it coalition or one nation.
It's either a Labor government going forward or a ragtag coalition of the Libs, the Nats and One Nation.
We could be a superpower, we could take our people forward, we could bring such better prosperity, but we focused on climate change. You know, it's people are over it.
And Charles Croucher joins us now from Canberra. Charles, on the eve of the budget, the government's fending off a travel expenses scandal.
Good evening, Tasha. Even before the budget, the opposition is now calling for the resignation of Communications Minister Annika Wells over travel expenses that date back to June. The minister held a meeting with her South Australian counterpart on the sidelines of a function the same night they both attended a 40th birthday. The independent body that examines MPs' expenses has looked into this meeting and says it didn't break the rules, but it ordered the minister to pay back 4 other flights.
Charles, thank you. We'll have special budget coverage tomorrow with the network's team of experts answering your questions. That will be streaming live from 7:30 p.m. on 9Now and on the YouTube, Facebook and TikTok social media accounts. It'll be followed by TV coverage from 8:30. There's been a breakthrough in the 4-month search for one of Australia's most wanted men. The body of triple killer Julian Ingram has been found next to a ute. He was last seen fleeing Lake Cargelligo in the Central West after a shooting rampage.
For 4 months, he was our state's most wanted man. Julian Ingram on the run after murdering 3 people and seriously injuring a 4th in the remote town of Lake Cargelligo. A massive search failed to find him, but today the breakthrough.
National Parks and Wildlife Service made police aware of an abandoned vehicle located in the Round Hill Nature Reserve, about 100 kilometres northwest of Lake Jellicoe. A short time ago, police arrived on scene. It's confirmed that this is the vehicle driven by Julian Ingram. Next to this vehicle, police have also located a male body in a very decomposed state. Next to this body is a firearm.
Ingram found dead. It was January 22 when Ingram began his shooting rampage, first killing his pregnant ex-partner Sophie Quinn and her friend John Harris, then moving on to Sophie's auntie Nerida, killing her and shooting Caleb McQuinn, the only victim to survive.
I heard boom boom. I seen her, she was holding her neck, and then he was laughing.
Ingram fled the town in a white council ute. At the time, police focused their hunt an hour's drive away at Mount Hope, battling heatwave conditions and a vast, barren search area.
It is very difficult, to find anyone out here, especially on these remote roads. It is very hard.
And it was in that area that his body was this afternoon spotted.
If he's taken the easy way out, committed suicide, that's his choice.
Closing this chapter of the tiny town's history.
It brings closure to this investigation. It brings closure to the people of Lake Jellicoe and gives some solace to the town so they can relax.
Helene Lambetsos, NBN News.
A COVID flashback tonight with a deadly virus forcing returning Australians into at least 3 weeks in quarantine. At this stage, they remain stranded on board a cruise ship in the Canary Islands as the federal government prepares to bring them home.
An evacuation in the Canary Islands which has caused global alarm. Passengers from dozens of countries covered from head to toe as they finally escape a cruise ship harbouring a deadly virus.
It's unique. I think it's the way that this has been coordinated, the way that all the countries have come together to support the passengers.
For more than a month, about 150 people, including 2 Queenslanders and 3 from New South Wales, were trapped aboard the MV Hondius as the Hunter virus spread. 8 people were infected, 3 have died. It took arm twisting for the Canary Islands to agree to let them ashore, and they were taking no chances.
People around just need to wear masks and eye protection and keep their distances.
And it was for good reason. One French passenger is now in strict isolation in Paris after showing symptoms on their repatriation flight home.
The very beginning of the epidemic is crucial, says the French Health Minister Stephanie Rees. We must break the chains of transmission of the virus.
For the 5 from Australia and 1 from New Zealand, their nightmare is far from over. They remain on board as the federal government scrambles a charter flight to bring them home.
This is a complex operation that often is likely to involve a couple of different countries.
The World Health Organization's advising countries to implement a 42-day quarantine period for returning passengers.
Of course, countries, we advise them, but at the end of the day, we don't impose.
Once off the boat, the Australian contingent will be flown to Perth and then transferred to the Bullsbrook Quarantine Centre on the city's outskirts. It was built at a cost of $400 million to deal with the pandemic, and the 500-bed facility has sat vacant for more than 3 years.
This period of 3 weeks quarantine will obviously only cover part of the 42-day potential incubation period. We'll be seeking further advice about what arrangements should take place beyond that initial 3 weeks.
One Briton on the remote island of Tristan da Cunha is suspected of contracting the virus. He's now received an urgent airdrop from the British Army, which has gone to the ends of the earth to give him every chance to pull through. In the meantime, health authorities hold their breath as the world fears not again.
And there's breaking news from the Canary Islands tonight. Europe correspondent Josh Bavis is there and filed this update a short time ago.
I can confirm that the person who was showing symptoms on the flight to Paris yesterday has now tested positive to Hunter virus. But perhaps even more concerning is that one of the 17 Americans who was repatriated yesterday has also tested positive, but they weren't showing symptoms. This is why the health officials have implemented the strict protocols, and also speaks to why the World Health Organization was recommending the almost 6 weeks quarantine period to match the incubation time. The Australians are expected to be transferred to the island in the coming hours. The Australian plane has a deadline. It has to leave within the next 9 hours. Once those people have been transferred to the island, then the MV Hondius will be on its way back to the Netherlands.
Outback Wrangler star Matt Wright is tonight a free man after spending 5 months behind bars. The 46-year-old was released from Darwin Prison early this morning, just hours after the birth of his third child. Wright was jailed for attempting to pervert the course of justice following a fatal helicopter crash that killed his friend Chris Willow Wilson in 2022. His lawyers have confirmed he'll appeal his guilt. It's been revealed the company at the centre of the SeaWorld helicopter disaster is being sued for $1.3 million. Jane Manns, whose father and stepmother Ron and Diane Hughes were killed in the crash, has launched the Supreme Court lawsuit after buying the tickets as a gift. SeaWorld Helicopter's chief pilot Ash Jenkinson and Sydney tourist Vanessa Tadros also died in the crash when 2 Joyflight choppers collided in January 2023. Tragic news from the Gold Coast suburb of Maudsley, with a mother of 7 killed in a crash. Police say Rebecca Hayes was on her way home from a Mother's Day market when disaster struck.
Rebecca Hayes, a devoted mum, was travelling with one of her daughters when tragedy struck on Mother's Day.
It's been established that a Mazda utility may have veered onto the wrong side of the road that caused the collision.
Police say her station wagon and another car were hit on Maudsley Road around midday.
This one, just that little bit more sadder, being Mother's Day and a mother of children and having the daughter in a vehicle.
The 41-year-old, suffering multiple injuries, declared dead at the scene. Her 11-year-old daughter in the passenger seat was taken to Gold Coast Uni Hospital in critical condition, but is now stable.
Sadly, being Mother's Day, our information is that mother was coming back home from the markets, Mother's Day markets that were at Mount Tamborine.
9 News understands a young man was behind the wheel of the Mazda ute, taken to hospital in life-threatening condition. Another driver, a woman in her 60s, also suffered a neck injury. A crowdfunding page has been set up to help support Rebecca's family, including her 7 children.
Our thoughts are with the members of the family who this lady that is deceased was Mother's Day. So our thoughts are with that family, and also thanks to the passerbys that stopped to render assistance, and also the emergency services workers that work professionally and tirelessly to try to render aid to all those in need.
Katrina Zaffa, NBN News.
The Bureau of Meteorology has issued a warning with hazardous surf conditions forecast for the Byron and Coffs coasts. Surfers, rockfishers and boaties are urged to take care and consider staying out of the water until midnight tonight. A draft policy will go before Lismore Council tomorrow night, proposing new restrictions around councillors speaking with the media. If adopted, councillors will be required to consult the General Manager before conducting interviews and seek their advice around what to say. Councillor Virginia Waters says she strongly opposes the policy, deeming it undemocratic.
We're being gagged as elective representatives, and they're putting a barrier between ourselves and our constituents, residents, the community, so that we're not able to freely speak to them.
Council says the policy is a draft at this stage and will be up for debate at tomorrow night's general meeting. Lismore is enjoying a new kind of success as an event hotspot. The city's calendar is jam-packed with 1 annual favourite and 2 first-time editions, making waves for the local economy.
An enormous 3 weeks for Lismore as a trio of popular events roll in one after another, starting with Grooving the Moo this past weekend, which saw a strong showing for the event's Northern Rivers debut.
As the word gets out about how good Groove in the Mood 2026 was, that will build on making Groove in the Mood 2027 even better.
Now, attention turns to the city's showground, set to host the Gemfest Expo this weekend. A Lismore staple since 1990, the event draws gem traders and collectors from across Australia.
Australia's largest gem and mineral show. We've got about 140 traders, demonstrators, food, caterers coming to the showground for the weekend.
Soon to follow, Primex at the end of next week, marking the major agricultural exposition's first time in the Northern Rivers.
We're very excited to see them coming here, and I think the town's pretty much behind that, so I think there'll be very big crowds for that.
And with the showground's $4.7 million revamp almost complete, Show Society President John Gibson says other events are looking to set up shop.
We're getting a lot more inquiries than we've had for years.
By Thursday, these grounds will have begun their transformation as organisers prepare to host around 10,000 people for the much-loved Gemfest Expo. The event boom hoped to cement Lismore on the tourist map.
Lismore really is changing the narrative of being the flood town to being the events town.
Isabel Gallagher, NBN News.
Byron Bay, Bellingen and Yamba have made the top 20 in Australian Traveller magazine's list of the 100 best Australian towns to visit in 2026. Byron came in at number 3, while Yamba was placed 14th, Bellingen 16th. The list was compiled through a vote from a panel of industry experts. Let's take a quick look at the top temperatures today. 23 degrees at Yamba, Cape Byron 22, Coolangatta and the Gold Coast today 24 degrees. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, the trial of a man over a massive cocaine bust in Newcastle enters its closing stages. Mother and daughter ISIS brides face court, abandoning a bid for freedom. And a long-lost World War I medal handed to a digger's descendant after being found in a mid-North Coast garden.
It's not just your hearing. For us, it's your life. Over 2 million Australians have already trusted Amplifon with their hearing test. Now it's your turn. Hear the difference for yourself. Try our advanced hearing tech with our free trial up to 30 days. Plus receive our market-leading 5-year warranty at no extra cost. Call 13MyEars today to book your free hearing test.
We caboodled it.
They'll never believe us.
Make a kitchen that will impress even the toughest critics. Caboodle, you made it.
It's lighter together.
When things get real, I want to speak to a real person real quick.
Things are real.
Okay, and the tow truck is on its way.
That's why Yui is CanStar's most awarded comprehensive car and home insurer. Yui, you insured.
Aussie homeowners' federal government solar battery rebates are still on the table. Axe Sunboost home battery packages now start from as little as $69.91. Call Sunboost to find out how much you're entitled to before it's too late.
Call 1300 Sunboost today.
At 50 plus, your health needs may evolve. Is your multivitamin ready? Choose Centrum, the world's #1 multivitamin brand. Specifically designed for adults 50 plus, it contains nutrients that help maintain cognitive function, heart and bone health. Switch to Centrum 50 plus.
It's the smallest things that can make the biggest difference for your dog. Like how every little crumb of advanced dog food is packed full of nutrients, including antioxidants, that keep them at their best inside and out. Advance Expert Pet Nutrition.
Can reduce reproductive efficiency. It causes early embryonic deaths, but then what's even more importantly is it's a very potent immunosuppressant. Don't let pestivirus rob you blind. PestiGuard, always on guard.
Right on the river in Ballina, Saltbush Bar and Grill serves fresh seafood, premium steaks and seasonal favourites. Saltbush Bar and Grill, the spot locals love.
Looking to refresh your home? Inspire Furniture's clearance sale is on now, with 20 to 60% off furniture, lounges and homewares. Style, comfort and value all in one place. Visit Inspire Furniture in Ballina today.
The sun don't shine, the sun don't shine, the sun
my new career.
From Foster to Brunswick Heads and now everywhere in between, we've got you covered. Lifestyle.
Prosecutors have wrapped up their case in the trial of Queensland man James Blee Jr., who's accused of helping his father import cocaine in the port of Newcastle. Blee Jr. claims he was never aware of anything illegal and was merely assisting his father as a runner in 2022, following instructions in purchasing equipment and transport. But today, the prosecution alleged it's inconceivable the 24-year-old didn't know what he was participating in, and it defies logic that he wouldn't ask a single question about what was happening. Blee Jr. has pleaded not guilty. An ISIS bride accused of keeping a slave has smiled and winked in court as her bid for freedom was scrapped. Zainab Ahmad and her mother were expected to apply for bail today, but will now try again in a month.
In the cold belly of a prison van sits an accused ISIS slave keeper, Kausar Ahmed, back in Australia, but further than ever from the land of freedom. Her daughter, Zainab Ahmed, who's also facing slave charges, smiled and winked as the court heard the ISIS brides are staying in jail for now. Their lawyers scrapping their bail applications. Instead, they'll try again next month. In the back of the courtroom, their brother and uncle, Abraham Abbas, who reportedly helped them return to Australia.
Is there anything you want to say about the charges against your family members?
The women arrested and charged as soon as they landed in Melbourne. Kausar Ahmed facing 4 crimes against humanity charges, including enslavement and slave trading. Her daughter, 2 counts of crimes against humanity for using a slave. Prosecutors alleging their conduct was part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against a civilian population, namely Yazidi people under Islamic State rule between 2017 and 2018. The court heard a female slave in Syria who knows the accused but is not the alleged victim is expected to have her identity protected under a court order, with prosecutors flagging she might give her evidence from a remote location outside Australia. Amber Johnston, NBN News.
There was an emotional end today to a story that began 5 years ago with an unlikely discovery in a Coffs Harbour garden bed, a World War I medal handed over to a descendant of an Australian digger after being lost for decades.
An Australian victory medal from World War I, now back where it belongs.
This is the medal. That is unbelievable.
A heartfelt moment, the road to which started half a decade ago when Bob Wilson found the medal in his front garden.
Just down there, on that mound there, you see it.
Yeah, wow.
I knew it was a fair dinkum medal, not a toy or something like that.
Convinced it had come in concealed in a load of mulch, Bob cleaned it up and discovered it bore the name of Private John Rowe, who served in the 19th Battalion of the Australian Imperial Force in France during World War I, before dying from a gunshot wound in 1918. Bob tried to find the digger's living descendants, but had no luck.
It's laying in the bottom of a drawer there for the best part of 5 years.
Then the local MP's Spirit of Anzac publication 3 weeks ago sparked renewed interest. Bob, now 90, noticing the name Rowe on the front cover.
And bloody hell, is this the same one?
He enlisted the help of Gurmesh Singh, who did a call-out on social media. Days later, NBN News tracked down a relative of Private Rowe living in Kempsey. His great niece, Sharon Goodwin, who travelled to Coffs today for the emotional handover.
Very excited. I'm thrilled. Absolutely beside myself.
She's unsure exactly how long the medal has been missing or how it went missing.
There was a large family. There was 11 children, so obviously one of the older ones got the medals. But which one it was, I don't know.
5 years.
5 years.
And finally that moment handing it over to Sharon.
Beautiful.
Are you happy?
Very. I'll get emotional in a minute. Yeah, very happy.
Thank you so much.
Alison Paul, NBN News.
Coming up next, a grieving mum launches a lawsuit that could change community sport. An Indigenous designer from Tamworth gets Fashion Week underway. And rap icon Snoop Dogg fulfills his promise to students at an Australian special needs school.
Buying an Australian-made mattress? Here's how to be sure. Check the label. Make sure it clearly says Made in Australia. Or look for the official Australian-made logo, the green and gold kangaroo. Ask our betting experts to help you make the best choice. At Harvey Norman, we're proud to support Australian-made.
Sutton Tools. Superior since 1917.
Half protection is not enough. Using just an antivirus online is also not enough. Get better online protection with NordVPN. It'll encrypt your online traffic, protect you from malware, phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get NordVPN now.
Powerboard. They are your own rules.
We're here for the dreamers, the morning ponderers, the neighbourhood wanderers, the sample hoarders, the concept boarders, the curious display explorers. However you dream, there's an outback patio for you, made with Stratco How-To.
Come to Watson's Leisure Centre for all your outdoor needs, with new and used caravans and motorhomes for sale or hire, plus spare parts, accessories, services, repairs and upgrades. The Watson's Leisure Centre will make your life of leisure easy.
Come and discover the NRLX difference. NRLX is purpose-built for safety, efficiency and animal welfare, where buyers travel from across the region, creating strong competition and premium results. And with Outcross, every sale is delivered using best practice services and software. There's also no better place for a catch-up. Northern Rivers, this is our yard. Come and discover the NRLX difference.
A heartbroken Adelaide mum has launched a legal battle that could change the face of community sport in Australia. Wendy Smith lost her 20-year-old son on a football field after a hit to the head. She's now suing the South Australian League for his club and a neurosurgeon for clearing him to play, despite a history of concussion.
Sifting through treasured memories of a life story which should never have ended so soon.
Some days are harder than others. I just stay strong for my son Jack.
Last week marked the 3-year anniversary of Wendy Smith losing her 20-year-old son Antonio to a head-high hit on the football field.
Even though he's not here physically, life is still so important. It was a nice day that was kind of bittersweet.
Unbearable grief has fuelled a demand for answers. Wendy has launched Supreme Court action against the Sandful and the Birdwood Football Club where Antonio played.
The system is broken because if the system worked, he would still be here today.
Among the many failures that day, Wendy says her son should have been removed from the field earlier in the game following a hit to the head. The club's defibrillator was in a locked storeroom and the game wasn't stopped despite the fatal blow.
And he certainly wasn't naive. He knows with contact sport there comes risk of injury. But he didn't sign up to die.
She's also suing the neurosurgeon that cleared Antonio to resume football, even though he'd stopped playing due to a history of concussion as a teenager.
As a mum, I was very nervous. But when a brain surgeon says, you can play football, you're cleared, you can't get any higher than that, right?
Painting a fractured family portrait is Wendy's sanctuary from the pain, and to ensure no other family loses their child, she's campaigning to introduce mandatory concussion education for all volunteers and parents in contact sports.
Antonio's law could essentially be a landmark reform, because it would change the way we think about protecting kids in community sport and putting their welfare first rather than a scoreboard.
While the federal government was initially supportive, it suggested to Wendy to organise and fund it herself, so she's now challenging Peter Malinauskas to lead the nation.
Our Premier loves to do things right, and so my challenge to him would be to, consider my initiative.
And ensure her beloved son didn't die in vain.
This is about justice and honouring Antonio.
Donald Trump has slammed Iran's latest response to US peace proposals as totally unacceptable. It came as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared on America's 60 Minutes, saying the war isn't over because Iran's stockpile of nuclear material needs to be removed. 15 police officers have died in a car bomb attack in northwest Pakistan. A vehicle filled with explosives rammed into a checkpoint in Banu. The attackers then opened fire on officers. A group linked to the Pakistani Taliban has claimed responsibility. The next 24 hours could prove critical for the political future of UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Leadership rivals beginning to position themselves after the Labor Party's disastrous results in local elections. Australian-born backbencher Catherine West has threatened to challenge Mr Starmer herself if cabinet ministers do not replace him. Delta Goodrem has walked the turquoise carpet in Vienna, days out from her performance in the Eurovision semi-finals.
Hoping to just enjoy and do what I love to do and celebrate music. That's it.
Delta is scheduled to perform her song Eclipse on Friday morning out time ahead of the final on Sunday. Australian Fashion Week is marking 30 years since it began, and the runway has returned to its roots on Sydney Harbour. From First Nations creators to boundary-pushing formal wear, it's all about showcasing a new era of Aussie designs.
There wouldn't have been a set of Servo Sunnies left within 5 Ks of the CBD today. Australian Fashion Week about to shimmy and sparkle, as were the fashionistas lining up outside the MCA. Dude, you are rocking this kit.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at you. Now, mate, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
It's like you've gone through a tree shredder. A Canadian tree shredder.
Beautiful men as well.
Thank you, sir. Fashion Week back on the harbour where it all began in 1996, after more than a decade at Carriage Works. The industry adding more than $27 billion to the nation's economy last year.
Collectively, you drive an industry that represents double the export value of the Australian beer and wine.
The collision of culture and location making Australia a unique fashion destination.
Our dust, our sand, the colours of our water. Even this morning, we were talking about the colours of the harbour and how it's changing continuously. You don't get that anywhere else in the world.
That fauna and colour represented in the first 2 shows by First Nations designers, embracing the local fashion ethos of ready to wear.
You go to work, you can change it, go to a party or, to a function after work.
Ready to wear, mate.
Ready to wear, that's what it's all about.
Mind you, Tony Maciejewski continues to push the boundaries of formal wear. Despite no twisties in the giveaway bag, the world of fashion this week focusing on Seculia Quay.
I'm very, very impressed that you turned it up for me today. It's
Kelly.
A great outfit.
So I'm front row suitable.
You're front row suitable.
Stop it. Mike Dalton, NBN News.
Amazon is ramping up its New South Wales workforce with more than 435 new roles up for grabs. The hiring blitz includes several sites across Sydney, as well as West Gosford on the Central Coast. The jobs span fulfilment centres and delivery stations as online shopping demand surges ahead of mid-year sales. One of Australia's most celebrated companies struggled on the share market today, losing billions in value. Here's finance editor Chris Kohler.
CSL has been a favourite for decades. In fact, 6 years ago, it was Australia's biggest listed company. Its rise made millions for investors, but that appears to be over. The share price nosedived 16% today, wiping out $9 billion in minutes. The reason was simple. The biotech company is struggling. Today, it announced a record-setting $6.9 billion impairment as its massive US blood products business flails under the Trump administration. The share price has gone from $300 to less than $100 in under 2 years. A money bonfire for millions of Australian investors. Overall, the ASX started the week with a fall weighed down by CSL, and the Australian dollar is buying 72 US cents and 61 euro cents as the market waits for tomorrow's federal budget.
US rapper Snoop Dogg has sent music equipment to students at a special needs school in Victoria. The star coming good on a promise made during his visit for last year's AFL Grand Final.
When Uncle Snoop comes through with the goods...
It's a speaker. I guess you're right. Oh, that is dope.
It's better than Christmas.
Mr. Snoop Dogg, we want to say thank you for bringing the presents.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
It's not just about the instruments, it's about the belief in them. It's been 8 months since the superstar rapper was in Australia for his AFL Grand Final performance. But before hitting the G, he was on the mic at Warringah Park.
I do what I did. Hey, I'm after school with the kids. Hey.
Answering the students' invitation to collaborate.
We got fresh new track called Drip. We want you to be on it.
The single, Drip Drip, has gone down as the hottest track in school history.
Educated, graduated from Warringah Park. Hey.
I was so surprised, I was shocked.
That was just such an incredible, powerful experience that just made the students feel so valued, heard, seen, and celebrated, really. And the celebrations continue here in the music room, where Snoop has forever left his mark, inspiring a generation of young artists to dream big.
They feel like they're grateful and joyful to have him in our school.
Snoop, what a great guy.
Absolutely.
Adam Murray's here now with sport. He's panicked sitting in at the Bulldogs.
Well, good evening, Tash. 10 rounds in. It hasn't been the start to the season they were hoping for. And while they could be down in the dumps, tonight they explain why there's still reason for optimism at Belmore. Plus, we hear from Blues coach Laurie Daly, who has plenty to ponder less than a week before naming his team. And Fowler beats Kerr. Matilda's superstars clash in the FA Cup.
A house frame made from true core steel stays strong and true. For a home that's built to last, choose the inner strength of true core steel.
Get the edge this end of financial year with New Holland. Right now, upgrade to a 4-in-1 bucket for just $1. Plus, get flexible finance across the whole range. See your participating New Holland dealer today.
Backache, back again? Thankfully, Panadol Extra contains a combination of ingredients which provides more powerful pain relief. Extra strength relief for tough pain. That's one for Panadol Extra.
Some sort of portal zone.
Question is, where to?
I've just been 1.5 billion years into the future and I'm still paying too much for my car and home insurance.
Or you could alter your future by switching to Budget Direct. After all, they've paid out over $1.5 billion on claims in the last 12 months. Do yourself a favour. Quote with Budget Direct first.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
China is on sale with Tripper Deal. Experience Warriors of China, now from $1,399 per person, including flights. Discover the Great Wall, the Terracotta Warriors and more. Search Tripper Deal now.
40 Winks 40 Frenzy is here. Shop our exclusive range of Tempur products. Get 50% off the Cool Quilt Pro Plus mattress, Ergo adjustable base range, and 30% off Tempur's pillows. Must end Sunday. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
The secret to the Northern Rivers award-winning drinking water is our pristine water catchments and treatment plants. We proudly supply drinking water to communities across the Northern Rivers. We're Rouse, taking care of what matters.
Plateau Landscape Supplies for bulk sand, rock and mulch, timber, sandstone, paving, pots, water features, fire pits and hire equipment. Visit us at Canes Lane, Alstonville, your landscape and garden superstore.
Every journey is shaped by people, and your path home should be led by people who value community. People like ours. McGrath, guiding you home.
They probably should be, but alarm bells aren't ringing at Belmore yet, despite the injuries, weekly team changes and 4 losses in a row. The Bulldogs believe a breakout performance is around the corner, and it starts with a key player returning for Magic Round.
4 straight defeats, but the Bulldogs aren't panicking.
We're only 10 rounds in, mate. And we've got plenty of footy to go.
Players are confident the tide will turn.
I think the fans should know that we're trying our best every week. We're still doing the same drills that we've been doing since Ciro got here 4 years ago.
It's been a tricky start to Leo Thompson's life as a Bulldog, injured to start the season.
As I get more comfortable in more games, I start to bring a little bit of my game and express myself a bit more.
Canterbury is set to finally have their first choice front row at Magic Round. Blues prop Max King tipped to return from a fractured jaw.
One of the reasons that I was excited to sign, I think he played Origin last year, and I love playing with the top props in the game.
There was a little celebration at the club today.
Am I that good looking?
Major sponsor Arthur Laundy receiving an artwork for his 85th birthday.
I thought they were going to up my fees for the year, something like that. But no, I didn't think that. But I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
Laundy helped kickstart the club's rise off the canvas during the pandemic. They didn't even have a jersey sponsor.
He came to the club in their hour of need a few years ago before I did, and he helped them out when they were financially under stress, but he's been great for them.
Arthur spends time with players and coaches.
We just went to have a chat to Cameron this morning, and they're all friendly, and I'm an old bugger, but they sit and listen to me. We have some chats.
You don't miss a game these days, do you?
No, I try to get to all the games.
Tom Marriott, NBN News.
It was back to school today for Knights young guns Tom Cant and Cody Hopwood, the pair returning to their old stomping ground at Maitland's All Saints College to announce a partnership between the club and a school that's produced a long list of NRL players.
We want to support them holistically and ensure that we're invested not just in what they're doing on the rugby league field, but what they're doing in their school and their life away from rugby league.
It was just good to come here, and all us young boys that were here, looking up to blokes like Shane Werrett that played NRL, and we always aspired to do that, so it was a good start-off point for us boys at school here.
Tom Cant is available for selection this week after overcoming a calf injury he suffered at training. With less than a week before he names his first Blues team for the year, Laurie Daly has admitted he questioned whether he was the right man for the job after last year's heartbreak, and Daly is confident Tyrese Latrell Mitchell will be fit for selection despite a back injury.
It's the loss that still haunts us state. With the series on the line, the Blues failed to fire in last year's decider.
I don't think I've seen a more disappointing or a less enthusiastic Blues side.
Yeah, we feel like, we understand what happened in that game. We know what we're going to do better. The key to it this year is sort of letting go of what happened last year and making sure we take our learnings to be better this year.
Did you think at any point, I don't want to do this job?
Oh, look, I think what you do, you question yourself, and then you go through and analyse your own performance.
This year, Daly will have to do it without his key advisor, Craig Bellamy. Daly dismissed the idea that the players didn't know which coach to listen to with Bellamy in camp.
The voice is all on you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I think that might have been a misconception last year that, Craig was the voice. Certainly that wasn't the case. As a head coach, you take ownership on everything.
Another big change, the Blue Mountains base has been abandoned. The new home is the Central Coast.
Do the players want to change?
I didn't ask them. I think that at the end of the day, as a coach, you're going to make some decisions around where you think is best for the camp.
It's pointless trying to get Daly to tell you who he's picking, but he was happy to discuss Latrell Mitchell and his back injury.
How confident are you that he's going to be okay for you?
I haven't spoken to him, but the feedback that I've been receiving is that, he'll be okay for selection.
You've got the trust in him to be that centre at the level you want him to be at?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that, he's a guy that gives confidence to other people, and that's something that a lot of people haven't got. And when he carries the ball, he carries it with strength and power.
Danny Weidler, NBN News.
Kennedy Cherrington has declared herself the Blues' chief antagoniser ahead of Origin 2. Ready to roll up, the Queenslanders on their home turf. A win on Thursday night will see New South Wales retain the Women's Shield. Arsenal is one step closer to ending its 22-year Premier League title drought. The Gunners beating West Ham 1-0 to maintain their 5-point lead on top of the table with 2 games to go. The result means West Ham can still be relegated, as can Tottenham, with Nottingham Forest guaranteeing its own safety with a 1-1 draw with Newcastle. Days after securing the Women's Super League title, Manchester City is a step closer to another trophy, upsetting Chelsea to surge into the FA Cup final. Sam Kerr extended the Blues' lead to 2 goals in the 59th minute, and they thought they were home, but her Matilda's teammate Mary Fowler ignited City's comeback with a sensational strike. Her side then going on to win 3-2 in extra time. Coming up next, Gout goes prime time. America gets to know our sprint sensation ahead of the LA Olympics.
I know I don't always show it, but winning does excite me. So when I see a chance to get ahead, I will change things up. I mean, why would you want anything less than the best? It's why I switched to Google Pixel. Gemini, help me come up with a race win speech that sounds like it came from me.
You'd say something like, thanks.
Perfect.
At the Australian Federal Police, everyday people do legendary work in over 200 diverse roles around Australia and the world. Everyday people, legendary work.
Rhythm is the best and the worst thing all at once. So your boyfriend? Are these guys bothering you? Why do you care? We're family now. You messed up my life. Don't talk like you're better than me. Not after what you did. I hate everything about you. You need to see what life is like without his light blinding your eyes.
Drive. Always before guests arrive, toilet cleaning is a chore. Again and again. Break the cycle. There's a better breath way. Enjoy grime protection and freshness 24/7 so the guests can come anytime. Try Breath now.
Running empty's a bit of a pain. At Origin, we're helping you keep your LPG topped up with simple orders through our app. That's all kinds of useful.
Hi, I'm Ed from O'Brien. See this rock? It's got really sharp edges. When it flicks off the road, it can also chip your windscreen. And if it cracks, it could cost you a new one. So don't wait. Head to o'brien.com.au. Easy. Book today.
O'Brien.
40 Winks 40 Frenzy is here. Shop our exclusive range of Tempur products. Get 50% off the Cool Quilt Pro Plus mattress, Ergo adjustable base range, and 30% off Tempur's pillows. Must end Sunday. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. 40 Winks. Serious about sleep.
Best sheds, up to 40% cheaper. Farm sheds, $12,500. Industrial buildings, $19,300. Best sheds are also backed by a 20-year manufacturer's warranty. Call Best Sheds on 1-800-15-17-18.
The Lismore Gemfest is back. Step into a world of dazzling crystals, rare minerals and hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. As one of Australia's premier gem and crystal celebrations, Lismore Gemfest is an unmissable event for collectors, enthusiasts and families alike. Discover stunning gemstones, explore sparkling exhibits and witness live demonstrations. Plus enjoy hands-on activities, trade displays and so much more. Don't miss the 34th Lismore Gemfest, 2 massive days of fun and fascination. May 16th and 17th at Lismore Showground. See you there.
This report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop in store and online. Best brands, best range, best prices.
Gout Gout is a household name in Australia, and today he became a prime-time TV star in the United States. America's 60 Minutes program taking an in-depth look at the sprint sensations training in the lead-up to the LA Olympics and peeling back the curtain on the unusual dynamic with his coach.
If American sport fans didn't know the name Gout Gout, they do now.
When the 2028 Olympics arrive in Los Angeles in barely 2 years' time, Gout Gout could bolt to a medal.
One of the most highly watched programs in the US, sparing no expense to follow the Aussie sprint sensation around the world. From his historic run at the Australian Championships in Sydney, to his home in Brisbane, and all the way to Germany for a training camp.
Running just feeds that, I guess, inner child in me that wants to, kind of feel free. Running makes me feel like myself, for sure.
By his side the entire time is Di Shepherd, his long-term coach, who happily admits she's the bad cop in their relationship.
He brings home a girlfriend that doesn't meet Coach Di's approval. What happens?
I'd go to mum and go, yeah, she's got to go.
When you think about it, the old white lady and a young black kid, is crazy dynamic, but turns out it works perfectly and wouldn't have it any other way.
Shepherd is no nonsense and is wary of the fame and increasingly large paychecks that Gout's success has begun to attract.
I don't like the attention. It's not my cup of tea.
But both are adamant the 18-year-old is still an unfinished product, and trying to fly too close to the sun before the Olympics will only end in tears.
If I tried to make him super quick now, I'd break him.
But you don't want to overload too much when you're a teenager, because then that messes up the rest of your career. You got all the time in the world.
Nicole Dunn, NBN News.
The Hunters' Max Stouffer made his Euromoto sport bike debut at the weekend, racing at the opening round in Germany. It was a learning experience for the 22-year-old, who had no testing or time at the track in the lead-up. His best place finish was 14th. In his first NRL game ended in a loss, but for Zane Harrison, there was still plenty to celebrate in his Titans debut. The halfback reflecting on the milestone, which he attributes to a long stint at the Tweed Seagulls.
Under-18 side in 2024, Harrison has been one to watch, coming through Tweed's Host Plus Cup ranks throughout 2025 and 2026 to now.
Timed it perfectly, to be honest. He's backed me from the start, but obviously I needed to.
Tonight for a kid against a really good side. He was sort of Zane was the guy getting our footy.
Still thinking there's competition. There's always competition, so I do everything I can to retain that jersey and keep my spot in the team.
The Suns will look to lock up a 10-game winning streak at their Northern Territory fortress when they meet Port Adelaide on Friday night. Trailing by 25 after the first change against St Kilda, Darwin star Daniel Raioli made all the difference to turn the tide, leading Gold Coast to a 29-point win.
I think we've grown in that space, the ability to understand that we've just got to grind sides down. We don't have to make up the difference in a quarter. We can sit there, it'd be nice, but we can sit there and just work into the game. And I think that's a sign of a club that's maturing.
Ethan Reid could be looking at a short stint on the sideline, failing to finish the game with a knee injury, while Matt Rowell will likely return for the second top-end clash. Gold Coast-based paddler and Olympic gold medalist Jean van der Westhuizen has claimed Australia's second victory of the international season, winning gold in the K1 men's 500-metre final at the Canoe Sprint World Cup in Hungary. Fellow Coast local Natalie Drobot took out the K1 500 women's final, beating race favourite Kiwi Amy Fisher. To far North Coast football, and Alstonville has continued its winning streak in round 5 of the Men's Premier League, defeating Casino 9-0. In other games, Byron Bay secured their second place spot on the ladder, taking down Richmond, and Lennox Head slumped to its second straight loss, beaten by South Lismore 2-1. And Tash, that is our look at sport.
Adam, thank you. Showers about and increasing over coming days. We'll take a look at the weather next. A robot taking over our streets. We want to know why.
Should people be worried?
I'll only speak to Ali Langdon.
Show me.
It's here. Beacon Frenzy is on. For 1 week only, enjoy 20% off all lights and fans. It's the perfect time to refresh your space and save. 20% off lights and fans end Sunday.
I mean, it's right there in the name. Australian Made Week. That says it all. Why do I love Australian Made Week? Well, just look at all the great stuff made right here. Buy Australian Made. May 18 to 24.
Okay, so Vodafone, they give you that big, fancy pants telco experience. Kind of like telco, only it's cheaper.
Did she just say they're cheaper than
I'm just saying, why would you pay more? She can't say that.
You can't say that.
No. Why? Allie, no. No. I will not be silenced. Tell my story.
There is no story here.
Vodafone is cheaper than
Do not say that.
Shop cooler club deals now at Anaconda. Time to camp more, hike more, fish more, and get out more. Gear up for every adventure this season. Play more, pay less. Only at Anaconda.
It's hard to juggle 3 things at once. That's why at Origin, we offer gas, internet and electricity bundles, making it easier to manage and saving you some hard-earned cash too. That's all kinds of useful.
How do you pick a pick-me-up? Do you pick a lick, a sip, or a bite? Or do you pick not to pick and get them all from the loose change menu? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Can you grab the cordial, kids?
Coughs, cold and flu are no fun. Save the day with Codral Kids.
At Tank World, we keep it Australian. We're proudly Australian owned, and now you can save $500 on our 23,650 litre tank from only $28.85. Keep it Australian. Sale ends today. Tank World, owned by Australians, made for Australians. 1-800-68-69-70.
Fig Tree Estate Kyogle has almost sold out. Generous acreage lifestyle block sized from 2 acres to 6.3 acres. Only 9 lots remain. This may be your last chance to build amongst these beautiful natural surrounds. For more information, contact PRD Northern Rivers.
Best sheds, up to 40% cheaper. American Barns from $9,250. Also backed by a 20-year manufacturer's warranty. Call Best Sheds on 1-800-15-17-18 or check out our range at bestsheds.com.au.
Won't you please help me?
We've helped Australians for 100 years. Now we're helping protect and prepare them for the next 100.
We could see some significant rainfall this week on the Northern Rivers and the Gold Coast, with falls starting to ramp up from tomorrow. Cloud over the east coast in onshore winds is bringing some showers to eastern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. The other notable area of cloud stretches from the top end through the country's interior, with the odd storm there. Tomorrow, that broad area of high pressure is set to drive showery onshore winds on the coast throughout northern New South Wales and over the border into Queensland again. WA and SA will also be affected, while a trough brings showers and storms to the tropical north. Checking today's top temperatures, 22s, 23s mostly along the coast. A little warmer at Ballina, 24 was today's top. Inland at Casino it got up to 25 degrees. On the Gold Coast, 24. Tomorrow's looking cloudy again. We have a very high chance of showers throughout the day, getting down to the mid-teens at Grafton, 15 degrees up to 20
24 degrees tomorrow. Ballina's expecting a top of 23. Casino and Lismore heading for 22 degrees. Tweed Heads 18 to 23 and 24 on the Gold Coast. Heading offshore, there's a strong wind warning on the Gold Coast. Seas and swell 2 metres, southeasterly winds, and they'll get up to 30 knots. A little lower on the Byron Coast, up to 25 knots expected there. Checking tides, there's an early morning high at 4 a.m. on the Byron Coast, dropping to the low late morning on the Gold Coast. There could be some significant rainfall totals in the coming days, up to 10 or even 15 mils daily around Tweed Heads. It'll be milder, tops only into the low 20s. Rains on the way for Lismore as well, and at this stage it looks like it'll continue right through to next week. Consistent falls at Grafton, and the rain's looking heavier as we head into next week there as well. And that's NBN News for this Monday. A current affair is next. Thanks for your company from all the team here. Good night.